What's going on, Jets fans? It's your boy DT back with another video. Hopefully my voice isn't too harsh. I still haven't fully recovered from the game on Sunday. First and foremost, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who came up and said hello during the tailgate or during the game. I appreciate it. I will shout all you guys out during my live stream later this week, but I certainly appreciate it. I never thought that sitting in front of a camera talking about the Jets would create such a cool community, a embracing community. So thank you to everybody who came up and said hello. So I'm full transparency. I'm about, halfway through the film rewatch. Obviously I was in attendance at the game, so it's a lot harder to, immediately start the film rewatch. So just getting to it today. I'm about 3 or 4 drives in for the Jets, and just a ton of things are already popping out. So I had to come and make a quick video. First and foremost, we got to talk about the offensive line, right? And I have some nerd stats and nerd charts to help create my point here. Rich Cimini talks about pass block win rate. So the offensive tackles, Membu and Fashanu, both ranked 32nd out of 65 tackles, which on the surface doesn't sound great, right? Like a fringe starter level win rate. But at the same time, 89.5% is a very high win rate, especially considering you're going up against Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt. So moving inside to the guards, Tippmann, first of all 64 guards at 100% win rate. John Simpson, 24th. And I think when we get into the film, some of that shows up. Tippmann was just a man on a mission on Sunday, in my opinion. And John Simpson was very good, but there was definitely some leaks coming from the left guard. And they were running it to the left quite a bit. So it's going to be, a bigger sample size technically for John Simpson. And then Josh Myers at the center position, he was first amongst all centers. So you have a guard and a center who switched positions at the last minute after the Elijah Vera Tucker injury, coming in at 100% pass block win rate. So you love to see that. And I think given the fact that they practiced there during the training camp and, a little bit of the preseason when Simpson was out, obviously Tippmann was at left guard, but Myers getting that time at center, it really showed. And I think he had a lot of great things on film so far for Josh Myers. So I love everything that was happening up front. A lot of really good pockets for Justin Fields, just stopping the film when Justin Fields is separating to throw the ball, and you see how much space is really in that pocket for him to work. And then when the pocket did break down and get muddy, Fields was able to use his elusiveness, his escapability to get out of the pocket and find the open receiver. So really encouraged by the offensive line up front. Speaking of Justin Fields, I have some quarterback efficiency charts. So the first one, and these are from rbsdm.com, as you can see down on the bottom of their chart. I've been, using this site for almost 5 years now, and this is the infamous chart where Zach Wilson is all the way in the bottom left corner in terms of QB efficiency. And I used a chart earlier in the summer looking at third down efficiency, and Justin Fields was top 3 or 4 in the league in terms of quarterbacking efficiency on third down. So you can obviously see here he's in the top right quadrant of the chart, and I don't think it's any secret when you see guys like Russell Wilson, Bryce Young, Cam Ward, Tua Tagovailoa down in the bottom left, and then you see guys like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts up to the top right. It's no secret what quadrant you want to be in. So Justin Fields is in good company here. To break it down a little bit further, I have this chart, if you can see it on your phone. If not, I'll go through it a little bit. Basically, this charts your EPA, so expected points added, and CPOE, which is completion percentage over expected. It creates a composite score, which is the first column. And you can see Justin Fields ranks 5th amongst all passers in EPA plus CPOE composite score with a 0.249. And just for, comparison's sake, the guy he was playing up against, Aaron Rodgers, all the way down at 10th at 0.203. So still a good game from Rodgers, but it shows just a little bit of the difference between him and Fields. I look over at success rate, that column towards the middle, 60% success rate for Justin Fields, 47.2% success rate for Aaron Rodgers. They both had completion percentage is up over 75%, and then you look at the next column over, which my emblem's kind of blocking, but CPOE. Justin Fields has a positive CPOE of 10.4, which means he completed 10% more passes than expected, right? Aaron Rodgers is over at 6.4, which is, again, a very great stat or a very great grade, but 10.4 percentage points over expected is huge. He was expected to complete 65.8% of his passes, and he completed up over 75% of his passes. So Justin Fields was certainly on one the other day. Some people were calling him Ohio State Justin Fields. To me, that's just what I call Justin Fields playing with confidence. And I was kind of laughed at over the summer when I said that the coaching staff needs to instill that confidence in Justin Fields. And I think we'll see some really great things that we hadn't seen since his time in Columbus, Ohio, when he was in college. So I'm really intrigued by Justin Fields. Again, 1 game sample size, so I'm not putting, the cart before the horse, but I do think there is going to be an element of Justin Fields' performance alone carrying us to more wins than a lot of fans may have expected. So really happy to see the efficiency rating for Fields going up. Another thing going up with the new coaching staff, with Tanner Engstrand coming in and Aaron Rodgers leaving, is the rate of motion, which is huge. Will Parkinson here of Badlands and TOJ says scheming players into advantageous matchups and using pre-snap motion. Jets jumped from pre-snap motion at a 45% rate last year in 2024 to 67.2% on opening day. So you're looking at, what is that, 17 points? I can't do math quickly. It's actually almost 20 points, 18 points, 18.2 points more than the season total last year. And we know Rodgers hates motion. So if you needed more reasons to know why they took the pivot at quarterback, it's because their offense wanted to include motion. 2/3 basically of every play included a motion. And watching it on film, it definitely helps when you can move Garrett around the formation, move your tight ends, get better leverage on, the edges. When you bring over that motion tight end across the formation on a run play, it usually helps a lot more. And I'm a big advocate, for pre-snap motion. So I love that this is going to be a trend for the Jets at almost a 2/3 clip. Maybe it goes back down to like 60%, because there's going to be times this season, if they have a deficit, they're playing from behind, they're not going to be using motion as much. But in all those neutral game scripts, they certainly will be using motion and trying to get those man zone indicators for Justin Fields, trying to get better, more advantageous matchups for their skill players on the edges. So I'm really intrigued by the amount of motion that Engstrand was using. The last thing I wanted to talk about is Breece Hall. So here's another nerd chart. We're talking about percentage of carries exceeding expected yards across the x-axis on the bottom, and then rushing yards over expected on the y-axis. And the poster of this chart broke down the quadrants. So you have top left is boom or bust. The top right is good. The bottom right is consistent, no home runs. And the bottom left is bad. And you'll see Breece Hall almost as far right as possible here on this graph or chart, with Javonte Williams having more percentage of carries exceeding expected yards. So basically what that means is on a given play, there is a set of yards that analytics say you should have gained, whether it's, 3 yards, 4 yards. And what this says is that Breece Hall, on many of his carries, it looks like between 55 and 60% of his carries, was going over the expected number of yards for that specific play. So if he was expected to gain 3, he may have gained 6, or, he was expected to gain 10, but he gained 18. So just a bit of a glimpse at running back production. And it's a little bit of a slight at the O-line, because you shouldn't be exceeding your number of yards carried that much unless you're creating a ton of explosives, which the Jets did with Breece Hall specifically. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword with this graph, but it does show that Breece Hall is far exceeding his expectations on every given play based on where they think he's going to finish each run. So just wanted to throw that in there because Breece Hall had one of his best days, and it looks like it looks like he's fully back to being the Breece Hall that we know and love. It was like 18 carries, 107 yards. He didn't find the end zone, but he still had, I think it was like 40 yards in the receiving game too. He had over almost $150 total yards. So I love what we saw from Breece. That screen pass was a thing of beauty. And it seemed like for much of the day, and I'll get through the play charting and really see how much of the game it was, but it seemed like a lot of their plays came in Steelers territory. Like the first 2 or 3 plays of a drive would start on their side of the 50, but they were immediately into enemy territory. And that's how you put up 32 points. So Breece Hall was definitely a catalyst for that. And then rounding out all of the charts, we have Brian Costello giving the rankings for the Jets offense. They were 6th in total offense. I assume this is based on yards. So 6th in total yards on offense, 4th in rushing yards. They had 182. They were 12th, tied for 12th in pass yards. I think it was 218 for Fields after the sacks. So not a terrible number considering his career average is about 175, 178. And they were 5th in scoring. So that means that there were 26 teams maybe that scored less than the Jets. And unfortunately, it's one of those games where you put up 32 and the defense lets up 34, right? It's kind of the inverse of what we've seen with the Zach Wilson-led teams and the Robert Saleh-led teams, where the defense keeps them to 13, but we only scored 7. And now we put up 32 with Justin Fields and Tanner Engstrand, and the defense lets up 34. So I think we'll see some regression to the mean. I think the offense will come down a little bit. I think the defense should come up quite a bit throughout the season. Either way, I'm excited for this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below about this offense. I'm still grinding through the tape. I will have a live show either tomorrow night, Wednesday night, or Thursday night after I am off with Jake Asman on his afternoon show. So stay tuned on the channel. I really appreciate it. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you're new. We're less than 100 away from 1,000 subs. That's a milestone I would be greatly appreciative of if we can get there within the next couple of weeks. My goal was week 1. Obviously, it didn't happen, but still super grateful for everybody in the community. Consider joining the A1 Since Day One community at $5 a month. You will get a lot of exclusive content. You will probably get much more long-form film studies. If I break down 5 plays live for free, I might give you 20 plays on the members only tier. So just for $5 a month, you can sign up to be an A1 Since Day One. I greatly appreciate it. I'm DTereman. Thanks for putting up with my voice. I hope it's back in the next coming days. And until next time, let's go Jets.